Daily Broadside, day 847. It's not 847, but yesterday I typed 846 instead of 468 or 486. I don't know what it is, but I think today's 487. Not quite in the 800s yet, but give me time. We got to get there. You can't really speed this thing up. You need the 24-hour period. The window really has to be what the window is. But I'll say this. I was talking to a guy a little earlier this morning, and I was with my young son, and he's like, "You got another kid too?" And I was like, "I do. I have two sons." He's like, "Okay, same baby mama?" And I was like, "I'm sorry." And I know what baby mama means, but I just said it because I was like, I've never heard anybody ask me that before. And I said, "Do they share the same mother?" She's a refined and delightful woman. Yes, they do. They have the same mother. I don't know if I would quantify her as a baby mama, although technically maybe she is, but it's just a strange way to put a question, man. And maybe that's what's maybe that's the problem, is we don't value the people that we impregnate well enough. But these German protesters are making me laugh. I gotta tell you, there's a lot of things I care about in this world, but none of them are worth me having my hands amputated. And I'll be danged if I'm going to epoxy and concrete my hands to a runway or a street or anything else. These people are idiots, man. And like the people that I see like protesting, that like chain themselves to stuff and glue themselves to things and cement themselves to stuff, they're the type of people that wouldn't know where anything is in like a Lowe's or a Home Depot. So they're just walking through the store going, "I wonder what else we could use to fasten ourselves to something immobile," and they're just going through there. "Look, concrete epoxy. This has got to feel good on the skin." Idiots. And now I don't know if they've actually had their hands amputated, but I know a few of them. I thought I saw a headline that at least one of them was, but that'll learn you right there. I mean, you only got a couple more hands. I don't know how you're going to get the epoxy open next time. You got to learn how to do it with your feet, monkey style, like those people with no arms that can paint with their feet, which is unbelievably amazing. That kind of thing. But they're just wandering through Lowe's, just what can I use, what kind of chain, and dumb. They just don't strike me as very handy people. And last night I got to go to an underground restaurant. A buddy of mine knows someone who's a relative of theirs, and they own this underground restaurant, and I got to eat sea turtle, like loggerhead turtle. Pretty sure that's illegal, but I didn't make it. I just bought it. It was a little pricey, and I will say this: tangy. Now, I've had turtle soup before. I don't know what kind of turtles they make. I think those are like soft shell turtles, and I don't think we eat like box turtles. But I got to tell you, loggerhead is delightful. It's tangy. I don't know how else to describe it. It's kind of weird. And what's up with blenders, man? You remember when you were growing up and you had a blender and it was like an Oster? I got Oster clippers. They make really nice stuff because I was tired of buying cheap clippers to shave this ugly head. And you'd buy some Wahl, W-A-H-L, or however they're pronounced. You get them at Target, and they're like $19, and they last like 19 days. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy some really good ones. And so I paid attention next time I went to the barber. I noticed they all had Osters, right? I think they're Oster 76s, I think that's what they're called. They're like $130. But man, those things, that's a tool right there. I don't know why I was buying crap. I don't buy cheap tools in general. So I don't know why I would extend that to the inside of my bathroom for those kind of tools. It's all the same stuff. It's still a tool. But blenders, right? Oster, I'm pretty sure they're the same company that makes the clippers that I own. But when I was growing up, I don't know what blenders look like today, because I have a travel blender, but it's more like a Ninja type thing. It doesn't really have like 800 choices like the old school ones do. But you'd have all those buttons, mince, chop, slurry, frappe, chop. I think I said that. But there'd be like 11, like who's refining their food into mush such that they need like so many incremental ways of dicing things up? I think dice might have been one of them. Dice, mince, chop, I think 4 is probably just good. Make something into just a complete slush, cream, whatever. The other one just a rough, just for your chopping up ice or something like that. I don't know. But anyway. And I was at a cookout. It was a cookout, but it was a surprise birthday party for someone. I don't know, maybe 3. It was the end of June, so maybe 3-4 weeks ago. And I get there early, and I like being early for things. And I get there early to kind of survey the scene and to get a good seat. And you can never not get a good seat if you're early, right? So I'm sitting there talking to this dude, and he just walks up, hey, I'm such and such, because, you know, I didn't know everybody there. And I'm like, hey, I'm such and such, and I'm such and such. So we introduce each other to each other. And the birthday boy had just gone on a fishing expedition to the Outer Banks or somewhere, I don't know, 2 weeks before or something like that. I don't know what it was. And this guy, he had like a fishing shirt and all this fishing gear. He had like the hook on his hat and just all that crap, right? Real big into fishing apparently. And so he starts talking. He's like, yeah, did you hear we went on a fishing trip? And I'm like, oh yeah, I heard you had a lot of rain. You know, I have nothing else to add to this, right? I've fashed like 4 times in my life, and it was all with my grandfather on a bank of a pond, and I think all we caught were brim. I don't even know if you're supposed to eat brim. They didn't look very tasty or very large. But he starts talking, and I mean, within 34 seconds of this conversation beginning, it was this. This is what I'm listening to. Like, oh yeah, we got drum and pike and cappy and crappie, and the line. We got the lures, and we got we were using 8-pound weights on our. Flies and blowing the dingleberries, and he's just talking about all this fishing crap, and I'm like, yeah, I got no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea. I know a hook goes in their mouth and you put a worm on the hook. That's all I got. I don't know what a bait caster is. He's using all these words that it's kind of like when I start talking about cars or something, and other people are like, and they don't even know what, tires are on their car. They have no idea what I'm talking about, or they're just standing there listening to me talk to somebody else who knows about cars, and we're just talking Greek. And fishing is the same way, man. I got no idea what. And this conversation went on for like 4 minutes, and I didn't say much of anything other. Oh yeah, oh shoot, yeah. I bet so. Well, I'd imagine. Yeah. What they did? What? You caught a Which reminds me of a story. I had a one-armed uncle. He only had one arm, and one time he caught a fish this big. Hey, get him.